So welcome to the first episode of Drunk Video Game History. Tonight we're doing Kingdom Hearts, and I'm going to start off this episode like I plan to start off every episode and show you how to make a cocktail. I'm going to keep it simple tonight. We're going to do an old-fashioned because Kingdom Hearts 1 is our game, and that is an old-fashioned game. I'm going to be mixing it up because Sora, he's a Disney boy, so an old-fashioned has to have some sugar. So we have some Festival Purple Sparkling Sugar and some Sparkling Sugar Stars, because these two things will really make this drink pop, I think. Let's show you how this works. First, we'll start off with our purple sugar. An old-fashioned is a half teaspoon of sugar. So there's a half teaspoon of purple sugar going right into our shaker. And then a half teaspoon of our sugar stars. You may already be saying, oh, aren't you doing about twice as much sugar as you need to? The answer is yes. Yes, I am. Because I'm going to make this one a double. Because I'm using Woodford Reserve's bourbon for this. It doesn't really matter which kind of bitters you use. There's a few bitters on the market you can use. I like Woodford's bitters because I really like the glass stoppers. They make me feel like I'm a real chemist when I'm doing this. So you'll take 2 dropperfuls of bitters into our shaker. Solid 2 ounces of bourbon per helping of sugar. The secret to an amazing old-fashioned is the citrus. So many places you go, especially now lately, a lot of places when I've ordered an old-fashioned, they've put this weird like cherry mash in the bottom, and that's fine if that's what you're into. It's like this newfangled old-fashioned, kind of an old-fashioned kind of guy. So I like the citrus to be the citrus rind. So just get the outside of the citrus peel is what you want. Don't hurt yourself. I'm getting a pretty good helping because, again, I'm making a double. Once you get a good portion of the rind, that's all you really need. So peel that back. And then what you want to do is you want to release the oils that are in this. So give it a good twist. When you give it that twist, and squeeze it, you'll release some of those oils and then just drop it in. In there, I've got myself some ice already. I'll put a few ice cubes in there. So you don't want to bruise your liquor. You'll see a lot of bartenders shake like crazy. There's no need. A drink like this can be made in the glass, crushed and stirred. That's completely okay. I'm using this really big, thick, heavy sugar, and so I thought that I would have to shake it for it to get a really good mix. I'm not positive I would, but I'm pretty sure I would. So I'm going to give this just a couple of really good shakes. That's all it needs. It's done. It's mixed. And there we go. That looks disgusting. I don't recommend any of you out here actually make this drink, but I'll let you know how it tastes because that's all that really matters when you're making a drink. Tastes like a fantastic old-fashioned. And honestly, now that I see it in the glass, I can't imagine that Donald would disapprove. Goofy would probably approve. Yeah, I think that the crew would approve. I think Riku would not approve. But that is a super crazy green color. Like honestly, I'm not even sure how that's showing up on the camera, but starting with starting with purple, it really did turn green. And it's really wild. I'm gonna have a couple more of these, and I'm gonna join you over in front of the fire, and I'm going to take you on a journey through the story of Kingdom Hearts 1. Before I really get into the game, I just want to say that I was really inspired to do this by a few people. Drunk History, obviously, is hilarious. I highly recommend it. Nate Bestman, the best guy ever, and the PCP University is really great as well. And just a tangential shout out to Bloody Biscuits and his fantastic speedruns. Kingdom Hearts starts with these bits that never go anywhere. Like, there's a lot of really good ideas. So people now are like, oh, they started it back in Kingdom Hearts 1. Yeah, they started about 85 different plot threads in Kingdom Hearts 1, and 12 of them have been continued to Kingdom Hearts 3. So that's great and all, but that's really easy to do, Tetsuya Nomura, when you start 85 plot threads. So that's good. It starts with Sora, and people forget this. The first thing is Sora saying, is this real or not? I've been having these dreams. Is this real? And it never goes any. That's the only time you ever see that. So that's your introduction to the character, is he's having dreams of whether the world is real or not, and we never know if that goes anywhere. So yeah, that's the thing. And then the song starts, and it's simple and clean, and it's super inappropriate, in my opinion, because Sora's 14, and maybe there's a translation error or something. And let me back up. So honestly, it starts with Sora, and he's in the surf, and he's playing, and then you see Riku, and you think, oh, you're like, oh, wow, this game is super woke. It's gonna be like the love story of Sora and Riku. And no, we get Kairi in like 2 shots. There's this weird song. It talks about like fathers and stuff, like if you love me, don't tell your father. Also has nothing to do with the game. Great song, like simple and clean is wonderful. Really don't know how it relates to the plot of Kingdom Hearts 1. As I make more of these, when you see my Kingdom Hearts 2 video, the song in that's light years better. Has much more to do with the video games. It really does come along a lot nicer. Yeah, that's how we start. And we learn main characters for the game. Sora, Riku, and Kairi. And all of the games are going to be these 3 things. They live on Destiny Islands. They live there with Tidus and Wakka from Final Fantasy X and Selphie from Final Fantasy IX. You may be thinking, oh, that's really weird. It's even weirder because they're little kids, like Kid Wakka. So they're not playing Blitzball, they're children. In fact, on Destiny Island, you never see adults. You hear adults, and Riku later talks about Sora's dad. You hear Sora's mom in the game very quickly. You just never see them. So that's weird. Some of the really early dialogue in the game doesn't really go anywhere in Kingdom Hearts 1. It is that Kairi is from another world. Maybe. So they're building this raft, Sora, Riku, Kairi, building this raft to escape Destiny Islands and go see other worlds. Because Kairi is from another world that she doesn't really remember. And then we get this weird jump cut to Donald Duck. And at the time, when this game came out, that was mind-blowing. If you look at the box, like you knew that there was Disney in there, but when you get this, hey, we're Sora, we're Final Fantasy characters, and then we're, boom, Donald, it's really jarring. We're in Disney Castle, Queen Minnie's there, Donald's there, Goofy's there, Mickey is missing. We cut back to Sora and the gang. They're building the raft. This storm comes in. This hooded guy shows up. Again, it's really unclear exactly what's going on. Riku, though, has this bizarre speech where he's like, I don't fear the darkness. And he disappears into the darkness. It's not ominous at all. It's very ominous. So, yeah, he's gone. But this is when Sora gets the Keyblade. Now, the Keyblade in Kingdom Hearts 1 is really simple and really great. It looks at the strength of your heart, and you have a Keyblade. Keyblades become so messed up later. In Birth by Sleep, they turn into cars, and they ride around on their Keyblades. But in Kingdom Hearts 1, Keyblades are really simple and they're great.
Are they simple and clean?
Arguably, yes. They're simple and clean.
Maybe that's the song.
No.
Oh.
So Sora has this wooden sword that he's been play fighting with Riku. There's this bit with this papao fruit. He can't hurt the Heartless. In later games, you'll see that Sora can like turn into a Heartless and maul them with his shadow claws. He can blast them with fire and stuff. But in this game, his wooden sword doesn't do anything to the Heartless. Once he gets the Keyblade, he can kill the Heartless. Then this giant Heartless named Darkseid shows up. Kills it, but it doesn't matter. Destiny Islands is destroyed. Donald and Goofy show up in Traverse Town, and they're like, oh, a star just went out. And that means another world has been destroyed and claimed by the Heartless. Sora wakes up in Traverse Town, but during this whole thing, like the storm, the fight with Darkseid, all that, there's this weird scene where Kairi, like, flows through Sora like a ghost. It becomes really important at the very end of the game. So again, the game is bizarre. It sets up a lot of important stuff really early that doesn't pay off until the end. So either you have to play through it multiple times or have a really good memory or play through it really fast. Or listen to this video and you get to hear the greatness of the series. In Traverse Town, Sora meets Donald and Goofy, and there's this weird scene where Ares from Final Fantasy VII is explaining to Donald and Goofy what's going on. Leon and Yuffie from Final Fantasy VIII and VII are explaining to Sora what's going on, and then they meet up, and the only instruction that King Mickey gave Donald and Goofy is find the key. So they find Sora and they're like, oh, we better travel with you. They beat this thing called the Guard Armor, and they get this gummy ship that Donald and Goofy have access to, and they go off to different worlds. Merlin's there from the Sword in the Stone. Merlin teaches you magic. Very cool. Lots of cool things happen. Traverse Town is like your hub. Sid from Final Fantasy VII is there. And it's interesting because Sid's in all the Final Fantasies, but specifically Final Fantasy VII Sid is there. So yeah, you fly off to the stars with Donald and Goofy. And I actually really enjoy these sections, like not a history perspective or a plot perspective, but the gummy ship sections are like these on-rail shooters, and they're just really fun, like from a gaming history perspective. I would already recommend to everybody that they play the game. I highly recommend playing the gummy ship sections. They're just great. So usually the first world you go to is Alice, but it's indicative of all the worlds, and I'm not going to go through the plot of all the worlds because there's no reason to. You go to Alice in Wonderland, for example, and it's the plot of Alice in Wonderland, the movie. If you know the original Disney Alice in Wonderland, then that's the plot. Throughout the worlds, you get to see these flashes over to what the villains are doing. The head villain is none other than the mistress of all evil herself, Maleficent. I have to give you guys a secret about me. Maleficent's my boo. If I ever could be tempted to leave my spouse, Maleficent would be the one to do it. I'm just throwing that out there that, yeah. It's all about Maleficent. So, not the Angelina Jolie, Maleficent, whatever. OG, mistress of all evil, Maleficent. She and Pete from the old school Mickey Mouse cartoons are leading up like the League of Villains, and they're in charge with like Oogie Boogie from Halloween Town, Iago and Jafar in Aladdin. They're all working together with Ansem. Ansem's plan is to get the 7 Princesses of Heart. And so you may be asking, Princesses of Heart, I haven't heard this. Princesses of Heart are Aurora from Sleeping Beauty, Ariel from Little Mermaid, Cinderella, Jasmine, Alice from Alice in Wonderland. You're like, Alice is a princess. Apparently, there's not anything that makes, you don't even have to be a princess because Alice isn't a princess at all. Belle and Kairi are the other 2. Belle and Kairi. So those are the 7 princesses. And if Ansem has all of them, he has 13 pieces of darkness. He can combine all those and he can open the door to Kingdom Hearts. Roll credits, right? That's the title of the game. Kingdom Hearts, when he opens it, is full of darkness. And Ansem is evil. He's Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. When he opens the door to Kingdom Hearts, it will flood darkness energy into him, and he will gain unlimited power. Before Kingdom Hearts is where whenever the denizen of this world would die, their soul would go there. After the Keyblade War, it was corrupted, and now Kingdom Hearts is just pure, unadulterated darkness. Ansem knows that. And so it's a big deal. That's what your objective in the game is, to keep Ansem from opening the door to Kingdom Hearts. Except that what you're actually doing during the game is basically getting the princesses in a state where they can be kidnapped by the villains and helping Ansem open the door to Kingdom Hearts. So you play through the different things, right? Alice, the Olympus Coliseum. Olympus Coliseum isn't really actually a Disney World that you go through, but Halloween Town, Belle's Castle, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, all those. And you slowly slowly unlock these princesses. And once you get finally to the end of the world, and when you get to the end of the world, a lot of plot stuff happens. That's where Maleficent, you have this final confrontation. She turns into a dragon, you fight her, you finally beat her. There's great rejoicing. Probably it. No, there's this final confrontation, and Maleficent has been turning Riku against you the whole time. Riku has Kairi's body. Kairi's ghost, like, ghosted through you and at the beginning. So now you're at the end of the game and Kairi's body has been with Riku the whole game through cutscenes. Again, really bizarre. And you're like, oh, that's weird. It's hard to follow a bit at this point what's exactly going on. Riku thinks that he has to fight Sora to get Kairi back. So Maleficent is working for Ansem, and they've corrupted Riku with the darkness because he wasn't afraid. So he let the darkness into his heart. So Ansem possesses Riku, he fights Sora, and Sora finds out that Kairi's heart is actually in him. That's what the ghost was. The ghost was Kairi's heart fleeing the destruction of the world and taking refuge in Sora's heart. We find out later, Sora's heart is actually like a hotel in Kingdom Hearts, and all these other hearts will just take up refuge there. Sora's heart, I think at one point, has like 7 other hearts inside of it. It's really like the Grand Budapest Hotel. Sora's heart has Kairi's heart in it. Well, the Keyblade can open anything. So Sora, again, this is a Disney-inspired game. Disney-licensed game. I should have grabbed my Keyblade. Sora takes his Keyblade and stabs himself in the chest and dies. And you're playing the game, and Sora just commits seppuku right there to wake up Kairi. Heartless are created when somebody dies, and their heart becomes, their body becomes free. Heartless are created at this point. The stronger the heart, the bigger the heartless, and it's really weird because later we learn about nobodies and stuff, but in Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora's heartless is like this nobody shadow heartless. It's like a ground soldier heartless. It's a nothing. I feel like it's a plot hole. Sora's heartless should at least be like one of the armored heartless. But no, it's like one of the lowest of the low heartless. Kairi comes up, saves him with the power of love, and you have to go confront Ansem. Ansem has everything he needs now, though. He has Kairi. She's the 7th princess. You shouldn't have unlocked her. You've done everything Ansem wanted. He's like, you did everything he needed. He can open the door to Kingdom Hearts. And he does. Pure darkness is gonna flood into him. And you find out at this point, spoilers, Kingdom Hearts is life. So you defeat Ansem, game over. And that's Kingdom Hearts 1. Should be a fairly simple, like, wrapped up thing. There's some loose threads in there a bit. There's an after credits scene. Next time, I'll get into Chain of Memories, and Chain of Memories, honestly, I think is when the game just goes off the rails. I don't know when Tetsuya Nomura actually became involved in the project. Kingdom Hearts 1 is so baseline simple, and when we get involved in Chain of Memories, it just becomes, well, I hope you guys catch me next time for Drunk Video Game History. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. See you guys then.